Hi friends, welcome to another RedditRev episode. Please subscribe and hit that like button if you're enjoying the content, and please share it with your friends if you can. I'd really appreciate it. Also, please leave me a comment to let me know what you think of the episode. Now let's get started with today's stories.
Caught straw cheating with ex. I have bonded with her kids, what to do with them? Really long sorry. Had to get it out. I am 52, lost first wife 10 years ago. At the time 2 daughters now 21 and 24. Life went on after about 3 years. I met current wife, 38. Met innocently enough. Basically kept bumping into her various places around town. Never really talked, sometimes made eye contact, we would point at each other at a distance and just smile. Then one day, getting my car worked on, she walked into the waiting room, while hers was worked on also. So we finally had a long conversation. We went across the street to get real coffee, as service centers was bad. We talked about an hour, then I was paged mine was done. I asked if she would like to do lunch one day to continue talking. We exchanged numbers and a day to meet up. We dated 2 years, then married. She has 2 boys now 10 and 14. They moved into my house, been living with her parents for 3 years. My girls loved her. Not as a stepmom, but as a big sister. Although having another adult in the house with 2 teenage girls was a blessing. Life is grand. I love those boys as if we're my own. I want to adopt them when they can make a decision on their own. The little one calls me Dad. The oldest, it was awkward. I told him to call me what he felt comfortable, my first name. The girls called her by her name. Wife is Sam. We decided until kids were adjusted. Now she doesn't want to work but does volunteer at school lunch and other things. Daughter 1 goes off to college, is now graduated. The younger daughter grad this past morning. We are moving the rest of her things this weekend. I was told her ex abandoned them about the time baby number 2 came along and has been no contact since. Her mom is very nice but holds me at arm's length. He is an alpha dog. I don't think he wanted anyone else taking care of his daughter only child and grandkids. He would berate me because I was too old, not much younger than them. This would be any time I was around them. I am non-confrontational, so I told wife I would just stay away from them. I did encourage her to continue relationship, as they only live a couple blocks away. February this year her ex reappears, wants to be in their lives. He is sketchy at best. I cannot refuse this. He starts coming around often. I set a boundary that he comes on weekends so as not to interfere with school and we can control his visitation somewhat. He comes most weekends, but really spends little time alone with the kids as we try to give him space. I ask wife if he made any child support payments while he was gone. No. I suggested to her to talk to him about getting caught up of whatever he owes and to ask about signing over rights so I could adopt. She said she would talk to him. First part of March our sex life starts to dive. You know where this going, right? But I am oblivious. I mentioned to wife, she has the usual excuses. I notice little things around the house are different. My favorite snacks are gone, missing a few beers, not a big drinker, just one every now and then. But the big one was I could smell what I thought was weed. I asked wife if she was smoking, as we don't, she hasn't. I thought the now 14-year-old was, suggested we talk with him. She says she would handle it. About 2 weeks ago 14 years old asks me if I love mom. I said yes, thinking he has a girlfriend. Time for a talk, right? He says that we always sat together and were touching each other some way or other. This made him feel good. He asks if mom loved his dad. I responded that sure, on some level she does, why asking? He replies that they are always looking at each other, talking and touching. And he is over all the time. I asked what he meant by all the time. Almost every day when they get home from school he is there, then leaves. That weekend I'm in the living room, he is over for visitation. He comes in and sits down across from me with a beer. I look up from my reading and tell him to help himself to a beer. He says nothing. I ask why isn't he with the kids. I could hear laughing coming from the family room. He said he might go in a little bit. I tell him I will not drink in front of the kids, I wait until after they are in bed. He says nothing. He then states, "You know, I am only here for her." What does that mean? You're talking about my wife. He says technically not divorced, he never signed papers, so she is his wife. I know a judge signed off on divorce because he could not be found, that's why it took longer to divorce. I finally ask about the child support, since I never heard back. He just looked at me and said that he was caught up, paid her $15,000 in cash. WTF. I asked then if she talked to him about giving up rights, never asked. He asked what would it be worth to me. I said you got to be kidding, you would sell your kids. Before he could answer I told him to leave. The next day, this past Sunday, the kids were at Grandma and Grandpa with wife. I bought and installed a camera. I put it on top of the TV. Very small. It has a view of the front door and living room. Motion activated. Nothing unusual until Wednesday about 10 a.m. I get alert on phone when the camera activates. So I am at work, I get a notice, figure it's the wife cleaning up. I look anyways. He comes back. She lets him and they kiss, long. He starts grabbing at her, she playfully pushes away, they are laughing, no sound. He sits on the couch, she brings him a beer and snacks. 10 a.m. She disappears. She is back a few minutes later, clothes changed, she is going to school for lunch. They are talking. More grabbing, more pushing away, laughing. A few minutes later, she is up getting ready to leave. He gets up, grabs her again, making some gestures, then poses like he is praying, hands together. They sit down again as she gives him head. She finishes up, goes out of range. Comes back, says something, then leave. He then watches TV, he takes a nap. Screen eventually goes blank. A little after 1 p.m. another alert, she is home. They talk, they both leave room. I know they are headed to bedroom. I race home and find them. They never heard me coming. There is the hysterics you would expect. He slithers out. I tell her she has to go. She pleads it was a one-time mistake, he had just got there. She was lonely because we weren't having sex, etc. I called BS. I asked how often he came over, just the weekends. This was an anomaly. I showed the video of him napping. She said he was tired and asked. Then I showed her the BJ. She had nothing to say. I told her to pack her bags, she is out. I left and called her dad to take them, and we were having issues. He of course take alpha position, telling me how I would screw this up, yada yada. I couldn't get a word in. Finally, I stopped him, asked again, he said yes, then started on me again. I had enough. I said I would send him something. I sent the video edited down to BJ. I told him to view and call me back if I was wrong. Never heard back. Talked to lawyer Thursday. He helped with estate plan after first wife. Referred me to a partner who does family law, will meet Tuesday, divorce will happen. He felt but did not know for sure that I would be on the hook for support for kids, no alimony since she broke our prenup. I made it up before marriage in addition to estate plan to protect my girls. I don't care about the support, glad to do it. It's the boys. So my question or advice needed, has anyone else been through divorce and was able to see their ex's kids even if they are no yours? How did that go? The 14 years old is partially vulnerable as he will be in HS next year, formative years. I don't want to see him go down the tube and turn out like dad. Thanks to all in advance. Update. Sorry, this update might be jumbled. I originally updated in the wrong sub. This is the umpteenth time I have written this out, each time it's shorter. I'm not sure how to cross-post, so I am retyping, bear with me. Last week was a busy week with daughter grad, moving her home, kids sports starting, lawyer, and the first face-to-face with wife. Got home Sunday, put daughter's stuff from apartment in garage. I get a call early evening from 14-year-old. Dad, what's going on? No one is talking to us. Mom and Grandma are crying, Grandpa's yelling. Is this because of what I told you? I assured him that his mom made a bad mistake, that he had nothing to do with this mess. He asked if I was packing up their stuff because he saw the U-Haul in the driveway. I explained what happened and that all their stuff was remain there. Monday and Wednesday were sports nights. Family sits in bleachers while I stand behind home plate backstop. My usual spot since I don't see eye to eye with FIL. On the way across the field, the oldest stops his warm-up and rubs over to me. We hug and talk a few minutes, then send him back. As I get my spot, I have a 10-year-old crash into me at full speed. I bend down, hug and kiss him all over as he is squirming away. My FIL asks if we could talk. We step away from earshot. He apologizes for the way he has treated me in the past and that he was wrong. Well, a little late, but I accepted and said I knew that it was a hard thing for him to do. He invited me to sit with them, I declined. He asked if I wanted to talk to wife. I said Thursday would be better, do we set 10 in place? Tuesday comes meet with lawyer. I told him the whole story, he knew from his partner but wanted to hear from me. He asked what I wanted to do. I wanted to stay with the boys then stay married. The boys were most important. He stated in his experience that the marriage would be a charade and not good for the boys. We could work out a visitation if wife is willing. As far as support, he said I could do what I wanted for the boys. Not to give her anything for me to control. The prenup was solid, she violated conditions, no support. He cautioned though that judges around the country have in some instances ordered child support in my case due to being in their lives so long. He did not think our judges have ruled that way in Tage past, but you never know. He was sure her attorney would seek support. He suggested that we try to agree on everything we could before court, that the judge would look favorably on us. Before leaving, he told me that every Monday morning the partners meet to discuss new and ongoing cases. My previous attorneys started out describing everything. Each partner has a specialty. Estate planning / elder law, criminal, liability, family. Later in Tage PM, the criminal lawyer meets up with my attorney. After the meeting, he called a contact in the prosecutor's office. The $15,000 did not seem right. How do folks in the middle class have $15,000 in cash laying around? Turns out X did not abandon them, he was in jail. He was released 3 years ago, when feds were releasing nonviolent criminals to ease overcrowding, etc. He was sure the police would be interested if he was back and practicing his profession again. But he did not have any other info but the jail time. Thursday, I meet with and FIL. I asked if they minded if I recorded so there would be no misinterpretation later. They agreed. Before we started, wife wanted to talk privately. FIL moved to another room. Wife started to apologize. I cut her off. I said, before you say anything, know that I know a lot more than you think. I asked how long the sex, she said the one time. I told her the video shows that is not true. I played a clip of her dusting the TV. She never saw the camera. I know it was only a few days, but she was going to lie, so I was too. She thought it was part of the video game. It's not big, but it is obvious on top of TV. She admitted since March almost right away. I told her no more lies. I told her of the family secret, that he was in jail not running away. She admitted to this also. I asked how long in contact, since February. I asked if she met up any time before him appearing. She said no. I then told her he had been out for 3 years. The look on her face told me she did not know. We get FIL back in. Turn on recorder. I asked if she had a lawyer. No. Told her to get one because a divorce will happen. They both asked if something along reconciliation could take place. I said no. I said I wanted the boys, she could live with X. I told her when speaking privately that X tried to sell me the boys. I repeated for FIL. We settled on the boys could see me anytime within reason, she would not keep me from them. I said I would provide at my choosing. She would get no support. I did not want her getting the boys to ask me for things, they would be honest if I asked. There you have it. One last thing, Redditors, the wife and I are avid readers of this site. We have our favorite subs. We would read and share, it was a thing we did together. She has read my post as she figured it out, and she read every reply you made. She stated you savaged her. You said many things I only wish I could have, because I did feel it. For that I thank you.
I hope you enjoyed our video. It's always a pleasure creating these stories, and if you liked what you saw, please take the time to show your support by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing if you haven't already done so. Sharing with your friends is also greatly appreciated. Let me know in the comments section below what you think of our videos. I'm all ears. Be sure to check back soon for more original Reddit stories every day on RedditRev. Until then, stay awesome, my friend.